welcome to another conversation on Awaz-e-Haqiqat that translates to the voice of truth. I'm your host Chris Malika Bhadra, and depending on whichever part of the world you're listening to me from, I'm going to be talking to someone who survived domestic violence, who survived a very rough experience of, I hope, what no woman has to go through in a lifetime. And we will be talking about domestic violence, awareness about domestic violence, and why is this still a topical issue in Australia. On that note, Lutfiye, welcome and thank you so much for speaking to me. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, Lutfiye. All right, before we start the conversation, Lutfiye, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
So I survived a domestic violence and attempted murder. My ex-husband, he stabbed me and tried to end my life. He also took my 4-month-old son from me at the time. And that's where my journey started.
I don't know how brave are you, Lutfiye. Thank you for your bravery. Not a lot of women have that bravery. A lot of women have to lose their lives on this. And on our listeners, a little bit of a trigger warning. This conversation might get heavy because we are going to talk about attempted murder. That's not light at all. And domestic violence. So if you want to step away for your mental sanity, please feel free to do so. Lutfiye, first things first is we are living in a country which is quietly liberal and modern. Why do you think cases such as these, what happened to yourself, are still occurring in this part of the world?
Because I feel that there's still negligence in the support that we receive, especially from police and the government. I feel like support workers, when they look after a case, especially serious cases like mine, they know what we need, but they can't supply that help because the government doesn't fund them. In my case, after my stabbing incident, I got support like safety devices and all that sort of stuff, and I honestly used it, but then I'm like, I don't need this now. I needed this before. And where was this when I was saying that I'm scared from my ex-husband, I'm scared that he's going to do something, especially when he followed me to the police station and police witnessed him. I feel like they could have done something about it, and I felt like I wasn't heard. So I feel like if we had these safety devices beforehand, when we say that we are very in fear of our safety, especially if we have children that depend on us, such as very young as my son, like he was at the time, I feel like that would have prevented a lot of things, and it would have prevented a lot of deaths that had occurred previously as well, and in the future that happened after my case. So after my stabbing incident, I noticed a lot of women losing their life. It just becomes a bit more in your face when you go through something like domestic violence. It just hits you even more harder. So I was like to myself, okay, in a perspective where I'm looking at this as a survivor of domestic violence and attempted murder, I'm like, I have to do something about this, and I have to be a voice, because I nearly lost my life and I nearly lost my voice, and so I thought to myself, I have to be if someone needs to do something, it has to be me, because I have been in that position and I nearly lost my life. So I knew that I would be a strong voice, so I thought it would be best to use my voice to raise awareness and bring safety devices or whatnot that women who go through domestic violence needs. I also feel like housing is a big issue within domestic violence survivors. Even with myself, I did notice that I'm not getting, especially after my stabbing incident, when I tried to look for a rental home to start all over again. So because people know my address, the media exposed it, my ex-husband's family knows, and other people that I don't want them to know my address. So when I reached out to rental properties that I need to be safe, feel safe, I kept getting denied a rental home even though I had the good income, I had good savings, but I was still denied, and I was just very confused, like, why am I getting denied, you know? And I realised it was because I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and they don't like that, let's be honest. It feels very like, I feel like they think about it in a materialistic way, that they're going to have damage to the property or whatnot. Even though my like ex-husband is in prison and there's not going to be anything like that, I'm still denied. And that's a very big like issue. So if I'm getting denied, I can't imagine all the other women going through the same thing, is experiencing the same thing. And when we look at news headlines, we see woman killed in her own home. Why is that? Because she can't escape. She can't find a new home. She can't find somewhere to save. She can't get approved for a rental property because she's going through domestic violence. She's got kids and all that sort of stuff. So that's why women are dying in their own homes, and that should not be happening in Australia.
Absolutely. Very relevant point. But what I wanted to ask you is patriarchy still playing a role in all of this? Because most of the times, like I am from South Asia, right? A woman feels a lot of shame that, oh my God, people will come to know about my broken family. I don't want to put the shame on my family. So are we still being triggered and affected by patriarchy? What do you think?
I feel like maybe in like some cultures it is a bit looked down upon. But my family, I'm really happy they supported me during my separation and me leaving my ex-husband. They didn't exclude me in any way, and I'm forever grateful for that. But I feel like some other women might not feel the same way. But I feel like it shouldn't be like that. I feel like our family, our parents should look after us no matter what we're going through, even if we're married or not. We shouldn't be discriminated in any way. And I feel like the next generation growing up should see this and be more open to like looking after our children and supporting them no matter what they're going through. So I feel like the parents who don't look after their children or support them in any way, like such as a separation, is a bit back-minded. So I feel like the next generation, I'm hoping that they wouldn't be like that. But no matter what, I feel like either way, if they have family or not, I think the Australian government should be looking after our women, and not only that, the children who come along with them.
Lutfiye, the next thing that I wanted to ask you is, you've went through such a horrible ordeal in such a young age in your life. On a difficult day, if and when you look back, how does it affect you mentally? How do you take care of your mental health?
I think positively of it. I mean, some people might think like, how do you think positively of something like that? Like you literally like nearly lost your life in such a horrible way, and like you remember all of it, and like how does it not like upset you? I feel like sometimes it does upset me. Like we're all human, we all have feelings. Sometimes like it comes and goes, but when I look back at it, I just feel so proud of myself, because from day one I thought positively. And especially when I woke up from hospital, when I was in hospital, I said to myself, Lutfiye, you have two options for yourself. I'm like, you're a mum, you have to think like a mum. And I said, if you hide yourself from what happened, I said, if you hide yourself away from what happened and not accept what happened to you and not be there, especially for your son, you're going to miss out on him growing up and his new milestones, and he needs your emotional and your physical support. So if I hide myself away crying or pushing myself down from something that someone who was like irresponsible done, I said I'm gonna like miss out on a lot of things in life. So I said, no matter what, just push through, be positive, and be there for your son. If you're going to cry or feel upset, do it in your own time. Because sometimes when I did it, when I was crying next to my son, I felt like he felt it, even though he was like 4 months, like he feels it. So I said to myself, like, do it in your own time, but don't do it next to your son. And I was just like, every time I held him, honestly, I felt so grateful that I was still here and still with him and seeing him grow up. So I'm just so grateful that that I thought positively from the beginning. And my advice to other people who are going through such difficulty, I feel like there's not a time where everyone takes different time in building that positivity. So don't force yourself into like, oh, I have to think positively now. If you can, that is amazing. But if you can't, take your time. Still think positively no matter what, but don't be too hard on yourself and don't bring yourself down. Don't miss out like on the beauty of life, and just live your life no matter what.
That's so beautiful, Lutfiye. But one last question. You are the mother to a son, right? Who's going to grow up tomorrow to be a man, who's going to get married to a partner. In your opinion, in today's date and time, to get that equitable society, what words should moms share with their sons, or what advice should a mother give to her son so that the son becomes a responsible man in the future?
I feel like treating them like with respect and showing that we should be respectful towards women no matter what, because we give birth to them. We give them our whole life in raising them and feeding them and nourishing them, and I feel like they should be aware of that and know that we work so hard to, grow them into a huge man, and just I feel like all I can think of just just showing that, teaching that they can be a respectful man no matter what. Exactly. And if they ever do something wrong, you have to bring that up to them and tell them that's not right to do, and you have to be respectful no matter what.
And responsible for your actions.
Yeah, exactly, that's right.
Lutfiye, I think this cannot be a one-off conversation. We need to be having these conversations periodically to raise more awareness. But on that note, if someone wants to find you on social media, where can we find you?
My Instagram, it is Lutfiye, Lutfiye, __ and that's my Instagram. I do a lot of sharing on them, not much on Facebook, but most of my sharing is on Instagram.
Amazing. Thank you so much for speaking with me, Lutfiye. This was for all our listeners who've heard the back screeching of seagulls and whatnot. We were sitting on a sunny day at Federation Square, first for me, and I thank Lutfiye so much for taking her time, because she had to drive all the way to Melbourne just to speak with me. For all my listeners, you've heard me for the first time. I really hope you had a lot to take away from Lutfiye's journey. Such a brave journey she's had. Trigger warning was already provided. If you are a survivor of domestic violence, please stand up. This is the right time to stand up and seek help. And if you've heard us for a while, I hope you like the content. And if you've got any thoughts or feedback on this episode or any of the episodes, please write to me at Awaz-e-Haqiqat@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram, YouTube and Facebook as Awaz-e-Haqiqat as well. On that note, thank you so much for talking to me, Lutfiye. You have a great life ahead.
Thank you so much.